Welcome back to Over 30s Gaming Gamers. Alright, we're going to go ahead and drop down into the game right off the bat. So, I have been asked to show my current build for the season. A lot of people have asked the questions of how I currently have my Critical Pulse built. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, one thing I also wanted to go over is the characteristics of, I think, the Critical Pulse crossbow. So, the Critical Pulse crossbow characteristics is number one, triggers continuous power surge on hit with a 70% chance to generate deviated particles near you. Pick them up to enter a charged state. Continuous power surge, number two, continuous power surge can be triggered every 0.5 seconds with 3 seconds on the current target. Higher stack shorten the interval, minimum of 0.3 seconds, stacking up to 5 times, dealing 60% damage to other metas. Number 3, while in a charged state, hitting a target consumes 1 charge to create an orb of lightning, dealing shock elemental status damage of 100% PSI intensity to targets within 5 meters every 0.5 seconds. This damage benefits from power surge damage bonus and has a 5% chance to generate deviated particles lasting for 3 seconds. Number 4, shock elemental damage plus 50%. So, that is the characteristics behind the crossbow and how to amplify its output. And then also it says, hello metas, you've got new power surge weapon, Critical Pulse. Its mechanic is great against both single targets and enemy hordes. This guide is dedicated to provide recommended use. Now it goes through and it shows you the different gears and whatnot. This is the Wikipedia from V. So give it a look and you can see what you can do to increase your gear's performance. We're going to go ahead and get into the gear. So as you guys can see, tier 5, 6-star calibration. I have calibration all max 6 on the gear, and my boots are the only thing that aren't 6-star, but everything is tier 5. So we're going to go ahead and get into the weapon. So of course I have Critical Pulse. I did go for the mod. I enhanced the weapon calibration with portable style, mobility, movement speed while firing 50, weapon switch speed 50%, movement speed while holding the weapon 12.5. And of course I went for double elemental damage due to the fact of, and that's a low elemental damage I might add for that weapon. But due to the fact of, the Critical Pulse goes off of elemental damage, which is the lightning. So we'll go for the mod. I went with Surge Amplifier Power Surge. I prioritized the Power Surge damage and shock damage, as you can see. And then, of course, the cosmetics. The cosmetics you get from leveling up weapons. And, of course, they're all random on how you get them. And I was just lucky I got the Fear Camo pretty early. So, accessories. I've, of course, went with the Tactical Scope XL, zoom level 3 times, aiming speed 6%, range plus 6. And then, of course, you got tons of different ammo in this for this weapon, but I use the Suppression AP ammo. Alright, next we're going to get into the actual gear I have wearing. I wear the Blackstone set in Manibus. Best set to wear. And that's because the buffs are basically always maxed out. For the Blackstone set, which I currently, as you guys can see, I have for my head, my chest piece, my gloves, and my boots. There's a reason why my mask is different, and I'll explain that. So, cold and heat resist plus 2.5, not worried about that. Manibus, you're never freezing, you're never too hot. So you're always in a As you'll see, warm sensation status. Upon dealing elemental damage, gain 1 stack of warm sensation. Elemental damage plus 2% for 2 seconds. Triggers 1 time every 0.5 seconds up to a max of 5 stacks, which is 10% damage. So as long as you're dealing damage, you're continuing that 10% damage. Having 3 pieces. When the temperature is between 10 and 30 degrees, which it always is because it's Manibus, you gain warm status, elemental damage 18%. So right there, we're at 28%. So next is at 5 stacks of warm sensation, you are considered to be in a warm status when the environmental temperature is between 10 and 30 degrees Celsius. Gain elemental damage of 7%. So there we go. We got an extra 7% onto that. So we're looking at, let's see here, 28. What is that? 35? No. Yeah, 28, 35. 35 extra percent damage towards the crossbow. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get into the mod. So, for the mod, I used, of course, Elemental Havoc talents. I've prioritized, you will see throughout all my mods, usually I try to prioritize talents, because that way I gain the extra elemental damage, and then I am prioritizing reload speed, because, you know, you're constantly reloading. As you can see, this elemental damage right off the bat, 10%, when HP is above 90% additional. So you get 20 extra HP. Now, for what I consider 2 key items to the set, the mask. Renegade mask. Reload speed 15%. Remember, constantly reloading with the crossbow. And then, of course, I used Thunderclap Violent. I did that because I don't have a good talents Thunderclap, and because I am prioritizing reload speed, and I didn't really have a good one for talents yet, so hence the reason why I have that one. Power Surge 20 times, which are doing tons of Power Surge damage. Celestial Thunder with 200% PSI intensity, and of course reload speed, and then crit damage, both 12%. Alright, gloves. Status enhancement talents. As you can see here, status 20%, green elemental damage, but I got a reload speed bonus of 7.2. So as you see, prioritizing elemental damage and reload speed. Boots. Covered advanced talents. Taking no damage within 4 seconds, because you're trying to run away. You don't want to be hit. You gain 20% melee, weapon, and status damage. So now your weapon's hitting 20% harder. You gain 20 more percent status damage for 30-second effect resets when the duration ends. And as you can see, again, talents, elemental damage, and reload speed. Next is, I would say, another mod that is probably out of the norm. Not a legendary mod, Flame Resonance. Status damage 12, talents with elemental damage of 4.8. So I'm looking at 16.8 damage. Now, if you go, I challenge you, you check out all the other mods. If you can find another mod in here that can give you the same amount of damage on a consistent basis, please tell me. I will update my build. But from everything I have tried to done, I have never been able to get something above the blue mod for the chest piece. I think they really need to upgrade the chest pieces. Now, the overload pants. After triggering Power Surge 20 times, the next 6 shots will consume reserve ammo instead. Shock damage 20%, cooldown 4 seconds. Trigger Power Surge during cooldown does not count towards this effect. I think it's like every 10 shots I get 6 free shots, where you don't have to reload. Now we'll go ahead into the mods on that. Abnormal increase talents. When the magazine is empty, which is like all the time you're using a crossbow, status damage plus 10% for 12 seconds. Effect can stack up to 3 times. That's a lot. That's like 30% damage. Okay. And then, of course, talents. And I prioritized reload speed and elemental damage. So, for food, I do use food. I don't really use a deviant buff. For food, of course, I use sparkling pumpkin soup, used to increase power surge damage by 10% with the good old chefy bonus. And then I also have whimsical drink. It's not showing up, but yeah, it's a whimsical drink. Status enhancement used to gain 25% status damage. And then, of course, I have all the stove buffs, but I also got Icy Treat Brain Freeze. Ice Treat effect duration 200% and potency plus 30%. And of course, I got my good old chefy bonus right down there of 32%. Stack those percentages. All right, next we will go into Memetics Cradle. This is the cradle that I've been running with this season. I know there's a better setup. I haven't gotten there yet. I know there's a different way to do it to gain more PSI damage. I am going to look at doing that. But this is how I've been running this whole entire season. I've been using anti-phase. When using the sniper rifle or SMGs, you gain, or crossbows, damage 15%. 100% against super anomalies. Status enhancement, 15% for 3 seconds after hitting a weak spot. Elemental sense, after dealing elemental damage, the corresponding elemental damage is 25% for 4 seconds. Transient impact, dealing power surge damage against power surge. Grants power surge damage 2.5 for 6 seconds, stacks up to 10 times. And then, of course, we got tactical combo, which is key. Weapon damage 15% after 4 seconds after switching weapons or reloading. You're always reloading. And then we got rapid aid. Medicine usage cooldown, negative 30%. HP is 40%. Medicine usage 30%. And medicine healing effect 15%. Remember, we have that one mod where we want to stay above 90% HP. And then the next two are kind of been throwaways for me. Anti-coherence. I've used it for the melee weapon. And then, of course, heavy strikes, of course, for the melee weapon as well. But each effect doesn't really stack with what I'm currently doing right now. So, kind of just fillers, to be honest. Alright. So, I think that is it for right now. I don't really use... there was, I think, Deviation Expert. I don't really queue on that. So, I need to probably get a little bit better on that. But I will go ahead and take these so we can go ahead and do a damage count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 shots from no buff at all gives me a total of, as you saw that, I think it was like 600,000 damage. I'll have to go back and relook at that. We'll do that right here. So, as you guys can see, I did still frame this so you guys can see a good photo of this. You can look at the damage from overall of that first 10 shots. And as you can see, the main, and it's still ticking. I think there was 2 ticks left. As you can see, the lightning is still on the main mannequin. But these mannequins don't save the damage overall a little bit longer. It used to, but I think there might be a setting that I don't know. But as you guys can see, the main target took 637,000 total damage, right? With 40,343 damage per second, where all the surrounding targets took approximately the same amount of damage. Look at that. 210,516. Every single one. I mean, granted, the DPS is a little bit, but only by like a point difference on a couple of the targets. A tenth of a point difference. But I mean, overall, the damage is pretty consistent with the crossbow. And as you see in the next iteration, you can only hit an additional 4 targets plus your main target with the crossbow. Alright, now what we can do is go back. The bow is already somewhat preloaded, so we'll do 10 more shots. Alright, there's 10 more shots, and as you saw there, it went instantly. 801,000 total damage. And of course, the surrounding damage was like 3. Now, the one thing I have noticed is I had more mannequins here before. Why you only see 4 now is because when the power surge splits like that, it will only hit an additional 4 targets. No more than that from what I have noticed. But whenever it splits, I will show you. Now, I could be wrong. This could end up proving me wrong. But, because when I do go to the main area, especially during Lunar, I try to get everyone in a big block real quick to be able to do it. Alright, so 10 shots. As you saw, yeah, I added 2 more mannequins. The other 2 mannequins didn't take damage. So, that hypothesis is correct. However, I'm telling you right now, don't let that stop you. Because of the fact of when you're out there, you're automatically killing anything, and when that lightning strike just jumps, you can knock down big groups, and especially in Lunar, in Blackfell, it is big gains. So yeah, that is my current build for Critical Pulse. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and I will get back to you. If you want to see another build, leave a comment asking what you would like to see, and I will do one for you. And then please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching Over 30s Gaming. Keep gaming, gamers.